Hi Jamal, again Canadian Connection, and I'm thankful to Honorable Minister Rod Phillips. He has joined us in the program again. Hello, Minister. How are you today?
Here, it's great to be with you. I am good. I'm actually on my way to beautiful Sudbury, where we're going to be talking with people tonight and tomorrow about the budget that we're going to be delivering in November. So making sure we hear from people all across the province about what they think we need as we all do our best to recover from COVID-19.
That's right. That's the topic we are having today, Road to Recovery. So just give us a little bit insight, what's the plan, provincial and federal, because the pandemic is still going along with us, and you must have noticed in last 1 week, the number of cases climbed over to 300 a day, and today Premier has announced the reduction in the social gathering inside and outside. So let's share your thought on this pandemic situation first, and then yes, we'll talk about how the economic recovery. Please.
Well, I remember when we were back together in May, and I first spoke with you and your audience about the plan ahead, and you will recall I said, there are two things that happened everywhere in the world where they open up economies successfully. The first is that there continue to be outbreaks, and we knew that we were going to have COVID-19 with us, and so we are seeing that. The second, and I'll get to the second in more detail in a moment, but the second, of course, is that people take longer to come back than you expect, and that's because people are concerned. So we're maintaining the focus on health that we've always made. The path to economic recovery is through a good health response. That's why Premier Ford announced today that, and he worked with mayors across Peel, Bonnie Crombie, and Patrick Brown. He spoke with Mayor Watson and with Mayor Tory as well, and decided that we know where some of the problems are coming from, and they're coming from social gatherings. People were worried, and we remain vigilant about things like restaurants and banquet halls. But, those business owners have done a very good job so far about making sure that they keep those places safe. But we've had some places where, we've had outbreaks, and those outbreaks have come in many cases because people have been getting together in too large a group and not putting the proper protections in place. So we did two things today. We made sure we reduced those numbers in those communities, but the Premier and the government also put in place the toughest fines in Canada for the people who break those rules.
That's right.
We know that 99.5% of people are doing the right thing, that they're making sure that they're washing their hands, and they're wearing a mask as they should, and they're social distancing, and they're listening to the rules, but there are some people who aren't. And so we have to make the point, and the Premier made it really clearly today, that for those people it's going to get very expensive when they break those rules, because they're not just jeopardizing their health, they're jeopardizing other people's, and they're also jeopardizing our economic recovery. So
that's right.
As I said, we always knew there would be outbreaks, but the health system is in place to handle it, and we just got to work our way through it together as we have so far.
Sure. So yes, that is very important. Health comes first, and we all have to be very conscious about. We have to follow the direction and SOPs and everything for sure. So we already entering into fall or winter season, which is, as you know, the Canadian economy is kind of season. So we already entering in a slow season. So what's your thought? Like people, like the government, federal level, provincial level, they are working that the people get back to work. SERB is getting already finished in this week, I guess. So people are now switching over to the employment insurance, and as you know, they don't get that much cash which they were getting in the form of SERB. So how the government, or what motivational word you can share with the people who are suffering, just to boost up their morale?
Listen, we know we need to. There's a lot of people out there still hurting. Now, we had good news last month, 143,000 people going back to work, so we saw progress, which is positive, but we also know that there are still many people in our communities that aren't back at work, and of course this is not through any fault of their own. This is because of this global pandemic. So we will continue to work with the federal government and make sure that we provide the programs that can support businesses so they can hire people. We had some new numbers out today that I can share with your audience.
Sure, please.
We know that 52,000 businesses have taken advantage of the rent support programs that ourselves and the federal government have. That's over 540,000 employees that work for those businesses. Sure. So we were in conversations with the new finance minister, Chrystia Freeland. We extended that program, and we are continuing to look now at what a revised program would look like for support. The federal government, as you mentioned, has moved and shifted their programs to a follow-on program for CERB for those that are not eligible for EI, and for those that do have EI eligibility, moving to that. So we continue to, as I said, provide other supports with some of our businesses, are trying to convert their programs to digital programs, $57 million for that program. So there is a lot of support still out there for people through their federal government, the provincial government, also the municipalities, I should say. We've transferred about $300 million to support food banks and other supports. So listen, we're all in this together. Sure. We're going to come through it together. Yeah. We are not out of it. As you said at the beginning, we're still seeing the challenges of the pandemic, but we're going to keep working, together as Team Ontario to come through this.
That's true. So yes, and then again about the sectors. Some of the sectors are badly hurt, like the restaurants and pubs and bars and entertainment. So yes, they are everywhere. My point was to talk about how fast or how we can amalgamate with the recovery path, how we can define the road to recovery. So yes. But for the last 1 week, the situation just a little depressing. So yes. but again, we'll have to be
But listen, I think of course what everybody wants to do is get back to where we were, and the challenge of that is the continuing COVID-19. So you have some of the smartest people in the world working on vaccines and other sports, and for our restaurant business, for our hospitality businesses, our banquet hall businesses, very important businesses for the employees and the people who run them. Of course, these large gatherings are part of those businesses, and so this is something that we are going to be tied to the progress that we make from a science point of view, and I do get to talk to some of these brilliant people who are working on these solutions. But what we've done in the meantime is make sure that we provide supports for our restaurant business. For example, the ability for them to do things like over-the-counter alcohol sales and other things to support. Our municipalities have done some great work to be able to let them expand patios, which are going to be extended into the fall. And now we know that the businesses are able to have people come back inside the restaurants, and we want to make sure we can continue to do that in a safe way. So again, lots of work to do. We'll be doing it together. We'll be working with the federal and local governments on that path to recovery.
That's right. So, okay, so a little bit, a question I got is from one of the viewer is watching online. So do you see, I don't know, is it relevant with our or not? Do you see any federal election happening in soon or in this fall? As Prime Minister mentioned yesterday. So
listen, if you listen to what everybody is saying, and I always start with that, I think I have heard certainly all the national parties say that they don't want an election.
All right.
I don't know about you and what you're hearing from your listeners, but I haven't heard anybody say, I'd like an election. I think everybody expects people to be focused on dealing with this pandemic. It's a minority government, though, so I guess we're going to see. There's a speech from the throne next week.
That's right.
And it'll be interesting to hear what the government plans to do. They have to be sensitive to the fact they have a minority. But I can tell you, I'm trying to think, I don't think anybody in Ajax or anybody I've talked to elsewhere has said, I'd like a federal election. So I imagine that